What's up, guys? So if you ever wanted statistical data to prove that, hey, your opponent might carried character or that you are not carried by Wi-Fi, well, guess what? PG Stats recently blessed us. They posted an article on their website basically analyzing character usage in different parts of the bracket along with win rates. And it was pretty cool to look at, to see some things that like kind of confirm, you know, what everyone knows, and some things that went against the grain of what we thought we knew. So I'm just gonna look today, be like, looking at this data, talking about it, and calling the characters who are carried on Wi-Fi hella carried. So get right into this, see this chart here. And this chart takes only the top 12.5% of bracket, or if you're in a top, let's say 512 person event, that's top 64, to give perspective where that is in bracket. So people who make it up out of pools and start fighting other players. And these are the characters you see a lot and how much they're winning. And with that, I want to talk about this area on the left here. You know, 3 of my characters are in here actually. Olimar, which is right here, like on the Byleth. Rosa, as the least played character in top 64s. And the Pits, which I guess you could combine them, maybe move the play rate over like here still, average the win rate. Anyway, the point is, any character in this red zone is almost pretty much just considered low tier, and you could argue, you know, win rates with like Ice Climbers. Look at that win rate, right? But you have to consider that with the part of bracket we're looking at, these characters are basically characters that no one wants to play in bracket, or can't get far in bracket, can't make it into like top 64s. Rosa, for example, has 10 games in top 64 here, so that's why the win rate doesn't matter much. You know, Ice Climber player might make it through like pools, and then since no one knows how to fight Ice Climbers because they're so rare, and Ice Climber players are dedicated and could probably get a PhD with the time they spent learning the character, they're gonna have above average win rates. And in fact, generally speaking, at least from my experience playing League, the more popular character is, the less their win rate tends to be as more people play the character. Kind of, and they're not skilled with the character, and they pick up the characters, they want easy wins, and they want just to fun to play, whatever it is, tends to be that more popular characters have worse win rates and vice versa. So, which explains some characters like Lucario, Korra, and Mewtwo being so rare but have good win rates, along with potentially good carrying. You know, you can look at Mewtwo and look at Wadi and say, alright, that's where the Mewtwo win rate's coming from. And inversely, you know, a top player of characters and playing the character online, Rosa, then yeah, the win rates are gonna, or the player rate's gonna look very low. But with that said, it's cool to see that like all this data here in terms of like characters where they're not played much kind of correlates to what we'd expect characters like that aren't good at online to be. Like, you know, Chrom down here, because he's kind of bad online. Sheik, Rosa, Peach, Daisy. Characters with Echoes can't really look at this data too much because people are still like playing Dark Samus or Simon as much as their counterparts. You know, Fox, you would never be like in this part of a graph offline, right? Online, look at him. Roy's even here, right, like underneath Ridley and Ryu, kind of hard to see. And then you have characters which are just bad anyway, like Bowser Jr., Little Mac, and Brawler, characters that no one wants to play, period. Random actually has more of a play rate than Rosa. Oh, this could also be Smash GG, not having DLC characters when they drop, so people having to use random instead to indicate DLC character. Yeah, so that's interesting. And then you get into this part of the chart here with like all this cluster of characters, and this is kind of probably like the average, I guess, of characters online. You know, these lines are basically 50% win rate and about average play rate, which is about 1.2%. So yeah, and you look at, I'm not gonna say this makes sense, we consider like an offline chart, but it's interesting to see. A lot of heavyweights here. You got Ganondorf with above average win rate and average play rate, Incineroar. Got Falcon doing well, surprisingly. You got Richter doing very well, actually, insanely well. And in Simon, you have like Richter over like here probably, but over like here maybe. And very interesting to see things. You know, Wario, you know, people don't like playing him online as much, indicated by a lower than average play rate, does very well. Falco carries online with about 58% win rate. Remember, data isn't perfect, guys, but clearly Falco's broken. Got outliers like Ken over here. If you play Ken, you're playing a character that isn't even that common and has a busted play rate. I mean, win rate. Basically, Ken is the most carried character in the game online, and that's facts. And then you have what is very interesting stuff like here, like seeing a lot of zoners not doing particularly well. Like if you look at these characters, a lot of the zoners are here like stuck in the average area. And my theory would be a lot of zoners end up seeming really good online because they're annoying, but they also is a very reactionary playstyle to zone people out with most of the cast. So it ends up being hard to kind of play like the game that a lot of people really want to play with zoners at an optimal level. And then you got stuff like K-Roll and Duck Hunt Dog down here, and it's like, eh? Like Duck Hunt I can kind of see. It means that a lot of Duck Hunt players, like, when they do make it into top 64s, they tend to just flop afterwards. So maybe when they fight more skilled opponents, it's really difficult for them, and there's enough data to like show, hey, it's not just like one person or like a couple bracket runs indicating this. K-Roll, you know, same effect. It makes sense. You see a lot of K-Rolls in like these online brackets, and then you see them in top 64 and they just kind of drown. They get destroyed quickly. It's K-Roll. Character kind of stinks, but really good at like kind of scrub killing and just, you know, online to make a mistake for seeing me lose. But anyway, better players in these brackets tend to know how to deal with online K-Roll. Mega Man was not a surprise. Young Link was a surprise, and just a lot of interesting little things here. And then I find this quadrant over here pretty interesting, where it's like a lot of characters that are perceived as pretty good, but have subpar win rates. And it makes sense because for some of them, online is not beneficial. Joker, no. PT, hell no. Online. Wolf, kinda has annoying stuff online, but definitely just worse. Cloud is weird though, and this is why sometimes the data isn't great. Because like he should not have a below average win rate, and obviously he should be above average pick rate. And my guess is a lot of people play Cloud, because I always see these in bracket all the time. And when you get a lot of people playing a character, even when some of them are making it out of pools, you know, they're still kind of dragging on the character's win rate because they're like less skilled players. Or less skilled Cloud players, just trying to like, you know, use the characters perceived as very good online to win matches. And then they fight people who know how to win the matchup. So like, you know, K-Roll where it's like you fight people that are better in bracket at the matchup, and they just struggle. But then, what's interesting is here, I feel like this is the area of the bracket where it's like, alright, all these characters, just the fact that they're so played, you know, almost 2 times or more play rates for any of these characters here, indicates they're probably really good, even if their win rates aren't particularly amazing, you know, like 44% for Steve in top cutter bracket. Sonic and Sephiroth is lower than average, although with the newer DLC like Sephiroth and Steve, they're gonna have lower win rates just because it factors in like these characters being new and people playing these characters when they're new, and obviously not knowing what they're doing as much and losing. But still, you know, these characters have, and also it means the play rate's probably higher too, so you could probably adjust these over like top left a bit more. But still, like, it paints a picture of like these characters being very common either and doing well enough in bracket to be seen commonly in these top 64s. Now they're clearly just very good characters online. Like if you play these characters, you're carried online. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules, I'm sorry. But like these are also characters that everyone kind of knows are really good online. I see them all the time online. Heavyweight character with sword, simple play style, easy peasy combos. Not the best online, but good. We all know about online Luigi. DK, yeah. Heavyweight grab character, kills you early. Sonic, yeah, spin dash. Sephiroth, this was a surprise actually, and I don't know how I feel about this because this doesn't make sense to me considering the character in life feels bad. Steve online, yeah. People like him. He's also very, very good, very obnoxious. DDD online, just. I'm sorry, DDD players, your character stinks offline. Don't get me wrong, but online this is a monster. Terry, yeah. Hey, everyone's matched with Terry. Bowser, I think is like the most common character or second most common character period online. So, and some of these characters you have to kind of look at that way, where it's like how common they are in the first place means they're more likely to get out pools just by the sheer number of people playing them, like Bowser. And this kind of average win rate, you know, indicates people are playing him because they think he's good as well, at least online. But the win rate also might mean he doesn't like particularly excel later in brackets. Data is very subjective, of course. And then you get here. And this is like the ultra carry part of Wi-Fi, right? And I play one of these characters online because I like to have a chance online versus the BS. Hey, Min Min. Yeah, if you play like Rob, Ness, Snake, Palu, Min Min, which to be fair, all these characters, I think Ness, Rob, and Min Min, everyone knows online. Well, yeah, of course, it just busted. But Snake and Palu, everyone knows they're good online, but I was surprised to see how good they are and how common they are. Like Palu having more than 3 times like the average play rate, and still having like, what was it, 50-40% win rate in top cutter bracket, means there's just a lot of Palutena players making out pools and then going farther. And sure, something like 60%, but even like this kind of win rate with its amount of play rate, it's pretty insane. So clearly Palutena players, especially all carried, sorry. And then there's other data that's a little bit less interesting, but still cool. This is basically total usage rate of a character throughout the entire bracket versus the win rate in the top 12.5%. So you see characters on the right, like, you know, kind of all the Wi-Fi gods are people who just play them. At least I think that's what. Let me just double check real quick. Or just a more spread out chart. This might just be a more spread out chart. I think this is actually just a bit more of a spread out chart. But yeah, it's also, you can see like here, okay, play rates. You can see this. I'm sure there's like some sort of line you can draw for like the average, but a lot of this feels a little like scattered. So that's interesting. And then I think there was a chart for... This one was interesting. This chart is basically the entire bracket pick rate versus top 12.5% pick rate. So you can kind of see how many people are making it like out of pools with characters. Like, you know, Joker, a lot of people play like Joker. Huge pick rate. Doesn't actually like make it into bracket that often relative to the amount of people play him. Or like Ken players, you know, makes it out of pools a lot into bracket among the people that play him. You have characters that no one really wants to play online, like Sheik, Rosa. And you kind of see it just as more people play a character with outliers, the more people do well with the character, and then you have the broken characters online where everyone plays them, and then people just do absurdly well with them. Yeah, like Sephiroth following trajectory is like a very popular character, but not particularly overperforming relative to his play rate. The characters along the line kind of perform as you'd expect based on how people playing them. And then I think this one was and this one was just funny. The size of the icon indicates like how popular a character is. But I thought this was funny seeing Young Link over here where like in pools this character is like a 60+% win rate. And then top 64 though, he's like a 47% win rate. Basically versus good players, Young Link stinks. And like I said, small icons though, hard to judge anything from like, you know, Young Link's kind of small, Mewtwo's kind of small, so his win rate looks absurd when he gets out pools, but like most Mewtwo's just kind of flounder in pools. So I like here. And yeah, I just, there's a lot to be interpreted from this data that could be like, I can spend hours picking apart. But the point is, if you play Rob, Midman, Palutena, Snake, or Ness online, you're carried. And if you're ever doing well with things like Joker or Sheik, Fox, you're the opposite of carried. You're carrying, and that's pretty hype. Let's go people carrying characters. And that's it for the video today, y'all. Hope you liked it. It was a different style video than normal.